Greenlands, and I have done most of the bale collecting, and we just have a little bit left to do. It wasn't too bad actually. Yeah, auto load makes life so much easier, and bale collecting at 50 miles an hour made collecting these 600 odd bales much more tolerable. A couple of things I want to do today. I want to work out how much food the dairy herd are eating, how much milk they're producing, and how much straw they're using in a day, or how much they're going to use in a day. We have a bunch of milk to sell, we have a bunch of fertilizer to sell, which is cool because the other job we're going to do today is build our big chicken yard farm thingy down here at the mega field. I think it's the perfect spot for it. We've got lots of space, doesn't matter if we lose some, and it can have lots of room for chickens. And this is something that I've not done before, but was inspired by Farm Sim Briscoe's The Oaks map, where he has a big chicken yard on there. I'd not really seen that before in Farm Sim, so it inspired me to try and build one down here. You can see we have quite a lot of bales, so yep. And surprisingly, not really causing me any particular issues with frame rate that I can tell, so that's kind of nice. You might have spotted in the background the two bunker silos have shut themselves, so once I've taken the loose silage off, we'll have to go into the save game file and close them properly so we can reopen them and get silage out. It's a base game thing, it's not a Maze Plus thing, so yeah, it's all the square bales as well. So yeah, at this point we have, if I go to the right menu, 124,000 litres of milk. I'm going to get all of that sold so that we are empty for milk. I'm going to fill the feed up completely, fill the store up completely, and then sleep from the food usage ticks over on the hour. It's about 5 p.m. now. I'm going to sleep till 5 a.m. and we'll see how much we use once we've got all the milk sold. Quite a lot of milk to sell, decent amount of money coming in for that, which is cool because this chicken farm is going to cost us quite a bit. So this is the last load. There was 2.5 loads, which, yeah, so I don't think it took that long to build that up, and that was £154,000 worth of milk, which is pretty nice because I think we're selling milk every day at this point. So yeah, going to help with the loan a lot. So we got overnight 64,000 litres of milk, so we're going to get 128,000 litres of milk a day. We used 156,000 litres of food in 12 hours, so that's over 300,000 litres a day, and about 18,000 litres of straw, which is not so much, but we are at the point where we are feeding twice a day, even though I've increased the capacity a lot, and we've got the stupidly big feed wagon, so yeah, going to be fun. Fertilizer to sell as well, so we just get this tipped, and then I'm going to push time forwards a bit so that it's daylight to build the new chicken farm. I don't think I did anything else. Did have to feed the sheep a little bit as well, so nearly 100 grand from selling a trailer for fertilizer. We have a lot more fertilizer at the farm as well, so let's get to work. I had a bit of a ponder about how we were going to place them, which way around, but I think we're going to do something like that. I did wonder about turning them around. If the bales weren't there, I did wonder about putting them in front of the silage bunkers, but I think this is a sensible option. So we need to think about building a big flat concrete pad, because that will make placement easier. I'm also going to put in a silo down here. I think I said that in the previous video. So we're going to have 3 big chicken sheds. We're going to have a multi-fruit silo, and then I'm going to be using the farm supply pack to buy of their feed. I did work it out. I think they're going to use a full shed is going to use about 100,000 litres of food a month. And the sheds hold about 40,000, so we're going to be feeding them every day. I might increase the capacity so that we can just maybe come down once a month and feed them, but realistically, you probably would be doing them every day. So that's where we are. I want to sort of put a border on what was the field so that hopefully Courseplay can pick everything up and will still work, because we do still want to use the rest of this as a field. This is going to be, I think, maize again in the spring. We need that much feed, so I think we're going to have to go that way. I did want to do a cash crop off it, but I think we're just going to have to go maize to keep the dairy herd fed. We'll see how it's looking. I need to go through, I did the video on the time-saving stock check. I actually need to go through and see how much food we have at this point, how long that's going to last us, and how much is worth, because that would just be interesting. And obviously, if we put the silos through a BGA, we'd get more, and we get products and stuff like that. But, you know, it's just curious, really. The spinnery is still spinning, I guess. I had a little mess around with that, and I did find it was slightly interesting that the spinnery can obviously produce fabric. You can then put fabric in to produce clothing. The problem I found, and I'm not used to using productions like this, so if you've got tips, shout. I would move the pallets of fabric out of the spawn point, and I would put them into the production to make clothing, because they don't show up in the inputs menu to make clothing, and maybe that doesn't matter. But then the pallet would respawn because it would go straight in as an output. So I spent a little while thinking, wow, I've got a lot of fabric spawning here, because the same pallet was spawning over and over again. So yeah, at the moment we're just producing fabric, and now I'm moving it out of the way. But I would like to take it all the way to clothing, and so if you know how to do that with that production, that would be really cool. Yeah, because I would like to use it like that, and at the moment it seems that when I put fabric in, it just gets output. I did wonder if I set it to distributing, because there's nowhere for it to distribute to, whether it would just stay there and then work. So that is something that I will play with at some point. I'm actually hoping this week to do the video on the profitability of turning wool into cloth and then fabric, particularly in relation to making sheep more profitable with Maize Plus. So, and I want to use that production because it's really fast. So yeah, and the values are actually slightly better. So might be that. And you know, base game production, because Kartek and I spoke about it the other day. The base game productions are so slow that it's kind of painful. That it probably take a year to process the wool from one sheep or something stupid. So low cost silo pack. This is the multi-fruit silo that I want to put in. It holds 1 million litres, which is pretty cool. These are the big chicken sheds that we saw earlier. And I would like to put 3 in. Now, which of you is spotting the mistake that I am making at this point? No, it's not that I didn't make the pad big enough. We'll go away and sort that. So, you know, I've spent, we've got 200 or £1,000 left. Spent a lot of cash. We'll put the silo in. We'll have about 200 grand left still. 5,000 chickens is very expensive. I didn't actually work out what 5,000 chickens costs. 15,000 chickens costs even more. So I'm just grabbing my calculator. So 5,000 chickens would be £275,000. We don't have that. 15,000 chickens would be £825,000. We don't have that either. Yep, I got carried away with building sheds. So we're not going to buy 15,000 chickens or 5,000 chickens. We're going to buy 2,500 chickens because we can afford that. So that is going to cost us £137,500. So quite a bit of our cash still. I am not going to sit and click through buying 2,500 chickens. Thank you very much. So we're going to do a little bit of XMLery in a moment, just having a quick tour. This is unusual for what I remember of FS19 of big chicken sheds is you didn't actually really go inside and see the chicken so much. It was just a closed building. So this is kind of cool. We are going to get quite a lot of pallets, obviously. I think I worked out that we're going to get about... one sec. Let me do the maths again. Times 7. We can get about 20,000 litres, 17,500 litres of eggs a month. So that's like 9 pallets a month. So they will fit in there actually, so that's okay. That's before we start expanding. So, yep. We get a lot of eggs. I think eggs are are they 500 litres? Oh, geez. I thought they were 2,000. So just taking the money out for the £337,500 taken out for the 2,500 chickens that we now have. Now we need to feed them. Yeah, I'm just thinking, actually, is it an egg pallet smaller than 2,000 litres? I might need to install the bigger pallets pack here. That might help. That might be a good idea. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've paid attention. Anyway, let's ignore that. And we're going to buy some food. First, we're going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel, as always. So we need to buy some soybeans, and we're going to get, I think I've got 7 pallets of soybeans, because they make up 35%. If you want to buy about 100,000 litres of food, basically, which you're then going to need to get down to the store. We are going to get 2 pallets of sorghum, because that's 10% of their feed. I think we're going to get some maize, and I think again we go for 7 pallets because they're about 35%, and then 20% of their feed is sugar beets, so we're going to buy that as well. Yes, I know I have sugar beets at the farm that I'm feeding to the cows, but this is how I'm buying feed for the chickens. It means we can buy their food for £200 per 1,000 litres, and that means we can make money off the eggs, and we need to make a lot of money back because we've spent a heck of a lot. We've spent over £500,000 on building this chicken farm, which is not unrealistic, but we're trying to pay off a lot of debt, and so we do need to make a lot of money back. Pretty sure we should, and it's something different to try. And yeah, tomorrow we'll have another 128,000 litres of milk to sell, putting manure and slurry through the BGA, so we're making fertiliser to sell, so it'll be fine. I don't actually want to finish this too quickly, and so yeah, I did just edit the XML for Universal Autoload so that we could fit 8 pallets on this trailer, because I've got a lot of pallets to take back down there, so I didn't want to be running backwards and forwards forever, basically. Too high seems sensible on a trailer like this. Here's a lot, it's 40,000 litres, so it's a nice way of moving lots of stuff about. But yeah, you know, in hindsight, as I watch myself play back, maybe spending £500,000 on a chicken farm was a bit crazy when we can't populate it. Now, the chickens breed really quickly. Something that I'm not sure about, and I'm going to have to test it at some point, is does it make a difference if you have roosters or not? I haven't got any. I'm curious, because if these guys breed, or girls even, because that would be more sensible, within 2 months we'll have 1 full shed. And that's, you know, saving us a lot of money. And then I'll probably start moving chickens about between the sheds, and we'll end up with full sheds in probably 6 months or so. But that won't be too bad. And that means we don't have to spend the other £700 or £1,000 on buying chickens. That's probably what I'm going to do. And common sense would say maybe to spread out the 2,500 already across the other 2 sheds, but then I'd have to put feed in 3 sheds instead of 1. And putting feed in 1 shed is much easier at the moment. Eventually we'll do that. I'm probably, I think, going to buy one of the flat decks that we had for moving the bales, because that would make moving the pallets of food that we need to buy much easier. Or we'll just get the store to deliver them down here because we're buying lots of them. That is also something that we might do. And what I'm looking at here is I want something that I can fill with about 4,000 litres of food. So the shed holds 40,000, and the feed kind of works in units of about 10,000 liters. So they're obviously too small. And I thought, what about the TLX? We've got a TLX, we don't use it very often, and it's got the tippet, which can hold 6,000 liters. I think that's going to be okay. I think that'll work pretty well. I used this in FS19 on my sheep farm. It was my my main crop carting truck. I guess that's the right word. I just brought the Deutz back, parking it up here to remind me to service it. Can't afford to service it at the moment because it's going to be £21,000, but it does desperately need a service. So I've parked it there so we don't forget. We're going to take the TLX down to the store, get the tippet back, and then get back to the chicken farm and tip some feed in so the chickens are fed, so they start producing eggs, so they start earning back some of that money that we spent. Now the cool thing is, I can go back to start this video, or later on I can go back, work out what we spent, and because it's eggs, it's feed cost is not going to be huge. I can at least work out from the amount of money we make selling eggs versus the amount of money it costs us to build this thing at least. That would be nice to know so that when we're in a profit. I'll try and remember to do that at some point. If not, I can always come back to the point in the video because the videos will be on YouTube forever. So, or until YouTube dies. And I don't think that's going to happen at any point soon. So, yep, that is something that actually I'm really curious to see. It's kind of like the videos that I like doing about can you make money from, and it's really hard to isolate it in something like this where you've got so much going on. So I'll try, but you know, at some point I could see it might be interesting to try and run a big chicken farm like that, just to see whether you can recover the costs of setting up and stuff and how long that takes. I did videos like that for the early can you make money from animals videos were exactly that. I would set a farm up and run it for a year and see how we were doing with like the cost of setting the farm up versus the cost of buying everything versus what you could make and all that kind of thing. And that is something that is kind of sticking in my mind that I would like to do, but I have a bit of a list at the moment, so it might have to fall down the list a bit. One of them I want to redo, and it's weird, I don't understand why it's so popular. Very early on, I did a video where looking at do cows need straw, and it was, and back then, I think I've spoken about it a while ago, actually, but I'll finish saying it anyway, just in case. Back then, cows didn't need straw because they still produced manure. You got a bit more milk, but you didn't get more or less manure. And I think that was a bug in the game that the manure fix mod fixed, and then Giants fixed later on. And so I want to redo that because it's getting, every month it's one of my most viewed videos, even though it was made really early on. So I want to revisit it because I think it's probably wrong at this point. And so, and people are watching it a lot, so I want to go back and revisit it and see what's changed as the game has evolved. Yeah, so let's start feeding some chickens, shall we? Okay. This is it's kind of maybe an unconventional way of doing it. It reminds me a lot of when I did my maize plus pig farm in FS19, because I used a pickup truck to do a lot of the feeding on that because the pigs were eating a heck of a lot. So I got my feeds wrong around here. I put 4,000 litres in. I actually went about 8,000 litres of beef, so I did come back and get another trailer full. I'm doing it in units of 4,000 or 4,000-ish because that's the 10% that the sorghum needs to be. So we'll do about 4,000 litres of sorghum, about 8,000 litres of beet, and then we'll fill the rest up with a mixture of soybeans and corn. And that should then keep them going for most of a month. So that's kind of cool. I'll just show you the juicy chickens. There aren't that many, which is kind of weird. I know that's a really good way of managing FPS, so it might be because I think this is an all-platform mod. They might have kept that down to help with FPS on consoles and maybe lower spec PCs as well. Yeah, this is me realising that I did moisture food instead of energy food, which is the 10% one. So I guess in reality, this is maybe how you feed chickens on a big scale, you know? You're not going to be, going out with your bucket of corn. You're going to be probably in something really big, dumping lots of feed. I mean, we're essentially moving feed from a silo into another silo. So you've got the two silos and the bin, and I guess that blows feed into the... So actually increasing the capacity of this may not be a problem because they essentially have two silos anyway attached to it. So maybe that is a good way of doing it. And we'll see how we get on, basically. We'll see how we get on. I'm really curious to see just how many eggs this thing is going to produce in a month, particularly once the whole thing is full and we've got our 15,000 chickens. Probably going to bring down an auto-load trailer to do those egg pallets. I think we'll be doing those manually, or maybe some sort of, or something. I ain't going to be manually loading that many egg pallets. I can tell you that. That would be stupid amounts of work considering everything else we have on the farm as well. Should be that sign. I'm curious as to what that says. I'm recording on our laptop, so I have the video quite small. I have OBS up and I have some notes up, so even if you can read it if you're watching on TV, I can't read it with what I'm watching when I'm recording. I'll go and read it when I'm playing in game and see what that says because I'm kind of curious. Yeah, so now basically you're going to fill up the rest with corn and beans, and that will be the chickens done. Might be shorter video today. Basically had a job I wanted to do. I got it done. I called it a day. And it's still Monday. It's recording Monday, and I had to get this video finished yesterday so that I could edit it and render the draft to do this bit. I really need to do another video tonight, and really not feeling it. I was feeling pretty good actually at the start of this. I got to the hotel, did some recording, had some lunch, and I just kind of dipped a bit after not lunch, dinner. It's quite late. It's not quite late. It's the evening. It's been a long day. The days where I come into the office are long. I left home at 5, and yeah, it's quite a long day. And so I'm kind of dipping a bit now, and so mentally tired. Words. Anyway, I'm getting kind of tired, which is good because the video is nearly done. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Cheer up this tired, slightly grumpy old man. Comments, questions or suggestions, particularly about getting that production to keep the fabric in so I can turn it into clothes. I've not done a lot with productions, as I said. And if you've watched this far and you enjoy the video and you aren't already, think about subscribing and turning on notifications. And I'll see you next time on Greenlands. I'm a little bit early finishing this one. Didn't take as long as I thought to record the outro. That's what happens when they're live. So yeah, I will see you next time. There we go. The chickens have all 36,000 litres of food. They should be good for a bit. See you next time on Greenlands.